This little pistol is called the Colt Mustang. It's a pocket revolver that was made by Colt in the 1990s for only a couple of years. It's a licensed modification and copy of a pistol made by Star in Spain. It was available in this version called the Colt Mustang. It was available in a version called the Colt Pony, which was the same except the trigger was a double action trigger. And it was available in a model called the Colt 380, which was basically the same thing but with a longer sliding barrel and a longer magazine, making it kind of a miniaturized clone of the Colt 1911. The big change Colt made in the modification of it was to make it a Series 80 pistol when they manufactured it. As such, it has a firing pin block so that the firing pin cannot be moved unless the trigger is pulled when the gun is cocked. What that means, of course, is the pistol can be carried safely with the hammer down on a loaded round, and there's no way the firing pin can reach the cartridge primer because the firing pin is blocked. Another advantage of this design is on this particular pistol, the safety can be clicked on with the hammer down and the chamber loaded, and the result is the hammer can't even be cocked until first the manual safety is disengaged. It has a half-cock notch, and if you cock it as per normal operation, the safety will block the hammer from movement. But like I said, this particular pistol blocks the hammer, the safety of which blocks the hammer from any movement, even when it's not cocked. This particular one I've modified. I've done a thing called stippling the grips front and rear because I found this to be a fairly slippery pistol if my hands were wet. The nice thing about it is it's stainless steel, which makes it usable or well suited for carry in wet environments or even carrying in your pocket, although I usually carry mine in a holster. Being chambered for 380 in a modern pistol, in theory it feeds both hollow points and full metal jacketed ammo. However, in my experience, this particular one does jam when fired with hollow point ammunition. Every third or fourth round jams. However, with full metal jacketed ammunition, I have not experienced any jams. And it's possible there's a brand of hollow points out there that doesn't jam. But it's important to remember this kind of pistol, because of its small size, is intended primarily as a last-ditch weapon for usage at very close range. The 380 is characterized as the minimum acceptable caliber for a self-defense pistol, and you're not going to get much power out of it. The normal intended range of these pistols is 10 feet or less. In fact, there are some 380s on the market that don't even have rear sights or front sights, and it's more of a point and shoot type thing. Speaking of which, I guess the next stage is to go out to the range and give it a shot. Hi folks, do a range test now with the Colt Mustang. This be it. Like I said, it was made from, said earlier, it was made from the mid 80s, I guess 1987 or so, up through 1995, thereabouts, before Colt discontinued it for a while, for a couple of years. They brought it back in 2005. During the time period this thing was made, There's been at least 5 or 6 variations of it. A longer barreled, longer frame model called the government model. Another version with called the Plus 2, which has 2 more shots with a slightly longer grip. A double action version, I believe, called the Pony. Newer ones are no longer marked Series 80 on them, but I'm told that they do have the firing pin block safety. There's a new polymer frame version out there, XRS or something like that. Sig Sauer now makes a copy of this also, called their 238. And earlier, of course, Star had made a version without the firing pin safety. Anyway, I'm going to do a function test and maybe a little bit of an accuracy test. The range I measured a little earlier, it's 23 feet. I might pop a few old shaving cans just for the fun of it. Let's see what happens. I'm hitting it. Just the can isn't moving. Let's try a different shade. Let's try to center the target. Okay, based on that, I should definitely be hitting the can. It is not that I am missing the cans. The cans are whole, and I might add now suitable for turning to the salvage yard. They just didn't move, that's all. The other one was nice enough to move. Yeah. See, I got both clips. Well, let me show you lower this and show you what the paper target looked like. You know, I was firing at the cans and not seeing any movement. So I fired 2 shots here and I got 2 holes here. So the gun is shooting a little high and to the left. I might be able to correct that by just simply changing my grip. That 3rd shot went right here. So, that's interesting. And again, we see I hit the cans twice. But anyway, that's the Colt Mustang 380. It's reliable. It's a good pocket gun. It's usable for extreme self-defense, close encounters. The intended range is 10 feet or so. This was 25 feet, but it was still accurate enough to put holes in the cans. Have a good evening.